Happy Friday. Welcome back to yet another Winged Unplugged. And I hope you had a really good Independence long weekend, spent time with family, watched the fireworks, did some barbecue, and definitely pondered on the question that we talked about last week, are you free? So if you had any aha moments or big realizations, please send them our way. Would love to hear from you and see what triggered for you. So today's topic is one that is potentially one of the biggest adulting challenges that we have. And so many times in life we have challenges, and we get maybe some bad news, or life is going in a way that we don't really expect it. And we kind of power up. We kind of get our armor out, and we say, we're going to defeat this challenge, or I'm going to find a way around it, or I'm going to climb over it. And we do that, right? We take all of our reserves and go in and overcome it, and it takes a toll on us. And imagine that you haven't quite recovered from the toll, and life throws yet another punch your way, right? You don't have a choice. You have to kind of find a way to deal with it, and yet another punch comes your way. And a few punches in, you don't know whether you have the energy to stand up again. You don't have potentially the resilience to go through it. Fear starts creeping in. What do we do in those instances when there's an incessant amount of punches coming in from life? And this topic was actually triggered by a very dear friend of mine, two of them in the last 1 week. One of them who I've known for a very long time, and she is amazing. Like, if you meet her, she's one of the most giving, generous, sweet people, and truly like a warrior from inside. And a few years back, I want to say 3 or 4 years back, she got diagnosed with cancer. And true to her spirit, she found her strength. She beat cancer. We all celebrated her coming out of cancer. And fast forward a few, maybe a year or 2 years in, the cancer reoccurred. And this time, she said, okay, fine, it's happened. Doesn't normally happen. I will fight it again. And she did. Again, went through cancer again with chemo, radiation, all of that. And she has little children. She went through it again. And again, we were like, okay, it's done. It's behind you. It's never going to come back. And we called it good, signed and sealed it. We all decided it was not coming back. And she just got to know recently that it's come back a third time. And a third time is not easy in a very short duration of a few years, 3 or 4 years. You haven't quite recovered from one round and bout of fighting this disease, and another one has come. And of course, true to her spirit, she's like, I'll find the strength. But what's happening is similar to what I talked about earlier. Fear comes in. We're all creatures of hope. For us, even when we're going through a really tough time, we think tomorrow will be better. This whole thing of everything in life is changing, so tomorrow will be better is what gives us strength and resilience many times. We need stories, and often we tell ourselves optimistic, positive stories, which is what life is. There is always hope. But as hope starts dimming a little bit, as fear starts coming in, as we think about, oh my God, do I have it in me for another bout of yet another fight? Or do I have the emotional resilience to go through it? There's an exhaustion, or where the spirit starts feeling not as enthusiastic, where the spirit wants to, the spirit's taken a little bit of a beating. And what do we do in those instances? And in this case, of course, it's a friend of mine who's kind of going through health issues, but it can happen with relationships. And this again happened in the last 1 week. It's crazy when it all collides, it happens at the same time. A friend of mine, again, really bad marriage, came out of it, took a couple of years to recover from it, and got into a relationship, again, not the most positive relationship, recovered from it, and again found herself, going through a breakup and trauma a third time. And what happens in the second and the third time is it's not like you're fighting the battle again, with a fresh perspective. All the trauma, all the hurt, all the emotions from the past come back. And what do we do in those instances? What do we do when we feel like we may not have the strength? Or, I can't imagine a life where I'm just constantly fighting these things coming up again and again. And for most of us who are fighters, our natural instinct is to pick up our armor, is to pick up the whatever our weapon might be, to invoke courage and start fighting. The first thing that I would say is one, be kind to yourself. You don't have to be a fighter and you don't need to do it alone. It's okay if we feel fear. It's okay for these emotions to come up. It is natural. Going through a traumatic event once is bad enough. Going through it a second time, a third time, there is fear that's going to come up. There is going to be this feeling of exhaustion. There is going to be this feeling of life is not fair. And it is okay. You don't have to fight those feelings and think, you know what, I should not be feeling this way. I should not be feeling that way. Feelings are not in our hands. And the more we fight them, the stronger they stick. In some ways, the more we fight them, the more energy we give them. If you can just accept them and say, you know what, it is fear. And it's okay to feel fear. It's natural. And let me just stay with this fear for right now. It will pass. Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar says, no emotion can stay for more than 2.25 days unless we pull it and we make it stay. It's like clouds. So just 2.25 days. You know what? If you're feeling intense fear, intense disappointment with life, intense fatigue, it's okay. 2.25 days. So do whatever you need to feel those emotions. And a lot of times we feel, if we feel the emotions, it'll take away the strength, it'll take away the courage. It won't. Because it'll pass, and when it passes, you will have renewed strength and courage rather than all the energy you're using to suppress those emotions or fight those emotions. The second thing that I would say, which has worked for me when I've had multiple punches in my life, because I'm a fighter, right? I normally will not give up. I will say, I will power through. I will find a way around. I will find a way above. I will find a way through. There have been times in my life that I've been brought down to my knees. And it's a feeling of helplessness. And for those of you who are, there's a lot of warrior in you, you'll realize helplessness is one of the worst situations to be in. And at those moments, I remember from a very, very pure place. And it wasn't that you can manufacture. It was truly, I was so helpless in that moment that I remember looking up or looking wherever the powers to be, because I know there is intelligence much bigger than me on this planet, all around in this universe, and whatever you call that intelligence. And I prayed and I said, either give me strength, more strength to go through it because I'm running out of strength, or change the situation, because both of them can't, I can't go through with the strength I have, I can't go through the situation. So you need to find a way to help me through this. And it's happened 2 times with me. And I can promise you, in both cases, the situation changed, and so did my ability to go through it. More strength came, more perspective came from where I don't know, but it did. So don't feel like you need to do it by yourself. There is a power much, much, much bigger than us that is carrying us. And sometimes we just need to just let go and let that power carry us. It's like a little bit like being kids, when you're young and you're not being able to do something, you will reach out to mom or dad to take care of it, and you feel so safe when that's happening. So just invoke that energy again that is all around us, is benevolent, is waiting to be called on, so it can actually help, because a lot of times we don't even recognize that energy exists. So the moment you invoke it with purity, with sincerity, with, for me it's been helplessness too, it has always come to my rescue. So just prayer and faith at that time are really, really critical. And the third thing is, for those of us, again, I'm speaking to a certain type of people who are warriors, right? We need to fight, we need to take care. A lot of times we take on a lot more, and we feel like we need to protect other people from what we're going through so that they don't feel all the ups and downs that we might be going through. If you've had a bad relationship, or you're going through the trauma of a breakup, multiple different times, you feel like, I need to save my near and dear ones, my best friends from it, because I need to go through it myself. This is not the time where you go through stuff yourself. This is the time where you find your community, you find your tribe, and invoke strength from them. Let them carry you, similar to how you have carried people in the past. That is why we're in in this, human journey together. We're not alone. More than anything else, science has proven people who feel connected, people who feel like they have a tribe behind them, they recover faster from anything. They live longer. In fact, love and connection are the two things that doctors have seen will help you recover from diseases, will recover from heartbreaks, recover from any curveball in life faster than anything else. They're the best two predictors of how we go through life and how long we live. It has nothing to do with our weight. It has nothing to do with our health. It has nothing to do with what we eat. It doesn't even have anything to do with exercise. It has to do with how connected we feel, like somebody has our back, like we have our people with us, and whether we feel loved. So again, this is the time where you tap into that power, because that power again can carry us through. The last one, and this can get difficult at this time, right? Because you feel like life is being unfair, you don't have energy, you feel beat down. Find one thing that you're grateful for. It's completely counterintuitive. But again, gratitude is that invisible fuel or energy that will drive change in life. That is the way it works. It is one of the most potent tools, or I don't know what I call it, but it's one of the most potent things that we have when things are not going our way. Because at that time, we're so far away from gratitude that if we can invoke gratitude in some way, magically, life starts working for us. Right? So just remember these 4 things. One is there is an energy bigger than you. Invoke it. Let it carry you. Don't feel like you need to do your work yourself. Right? Second is if emotions are coming up, it's okay to feel them. Don't suppress them. Surround yourself with people that can carry you again. And gratitude. Yeah. And just know that even though it might seem like life doesn't have your back, even at that moment it does. You are being carried. And no matter what anybody says, if they're not being optimistic, you always have some of these people who are so-called practical, and they'll give you worst case scenarios. This is not the time to get into worst case scenarios. This is the time to think of best cases. And if anybody's saying something that does not resonate, bring your energy down, you have complete permission not to be around them. Right? This is not the time you want to be with people who will pull your energy down. So I'm just going to pause over there and see if there are any thoughts or questions, because I know we've all been through instances where life has thrown not just a 1-2 punch, but a 1-2-3-4 punch, and we've had to literally, crawl our way out of it. So any thoughts, ideas, suggestions would be great. And at this time, definitely things like meditation, breathing become your best friends. So rely on those two. It helps reframe the mind, it helps a different perspective, and again, it helps us tap into that unseen energy, which is what we need more than ever before during this time. I'm seeing a couple of hearts. Hi Nalini, good to see you. Hi Mom. It's always good to see you here. So if there are any questions or thoughts, we'll take them. Otherwise, just take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and know that you are not alone. Even in your worst times, you are being carried, right? And tap into that energy. So I'll see you again next Friday on yet another adulting challenge that all of us have. See you. Sorry, there is a question that's come in. When we aren't a mess, when we are in a mess, we just don't see anything. Yes, it's completely true. At that time, it's difficult to see. And that is why if you can just remember these 4 things at that time, it'll help. Surround yourself with positive people and tap into that unseen energy. How do you get away from worst case thinkers? Do you respond in the moment? Ignore them. Just think of them as people talking and don't let it inside. There was a beautiful talk I was seeing this week, and it was again by Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and he was saying, nobody can take away your self-respect without your permission, right? So don't give those words permission to come in at all. It's just, how when a baby babbles, or, you have a, one of these, an insane person talking, and you don't take what they say very seriously. Don't take them seriously. And just know they don't know. Nobody knows. and it's between you and that unseen energy. So don't let them bring you down. And if there is a way for you to avoid people like this during this time, please do it. These are not the people you want to call. The people you want to call are the people when you pick up the phone you feel happy talking to them, not the people that are going to bring you down. Wow, what can you do if someone close to you is going through challenges but it feels like there's nothing you can do to help? Such a great question. It's another form of helplessness, right? You really want to help the person, carry the person, but there's nothing you can do. Again, prayer. You praying, you invoking that invisible power for them will help. Yeah, beautiful questions. So I'm going to be sending a prayer for all of us who are going through really, really tough times right now and going through multiple punches, and just know that you're going to be carried. Believe that, know that. Yeah. And I'll see you again next week. See you.